Hi guys, it's Morgan, and today I'm going to be talking about episode 12 and episode 13 of season 1 of Scream Queens, otherwise known as the season 1 finale of Scream Queens. Now, if you haven't seen the season 1 finale yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, really, you should stop watching right now, because this episode, we find out who the girl baby in the bathtub was. I mean, that's basically what we've been trying to find out the entire season. And it's revealed to us in this episode. So unless you've seen the episode, I strongly encourage you to leave. Unless you haven't watched the show or don't really care, you can stick around to watch the video if you really want to. But don't say I didn't warn you. Episode 12 starts off right where episode 11 left off. Pete tells Grace that he made a deal with the Red Devil to keep Grace safe, and that he realized it was Boone and followed him back to the Dickie Dollar Scholars and confronted him, and Boone told him his whole story, and Pete realized that both he and Boone wanted Kappa gone, so Pete agreed to help Boone. Pete tells Grace that he was the Red Devil that killed Roger when Chanel No. 5 and Roger were in Chanel's closet playing 7 Minutes in Heaven during the sleepover. Pete tells Grace that he did it all for Grace and that he still loves her, and he also tells Grace that Boone had asked him to come help him kill Gigi, but that he killed Boone instead. And he also tells Grace that he was the Red Devil at the mall that shot Chanel with the arrow. I kind of had a feeling that Pete was the Red Devil in the mall. That was one of my theories in the last video. Pete tells Grace that Chanel pretended to like him, but then embarrassed him in front of Chanel No. 3 and Chanel No. 5. He asks Grace to run away with him, but Grace says that she hates him and leaves. Pete then says that she left before he could reveal the identity of the other killer. Grace was outside Pete's door, so she heard him say that, and then she comes back in. Pete is about to tell Grace the identity of the girl baby in the bathtub when that exact person jumps out of the closet and kills Pete, and seems to kill Grace. When this scene happened, I wasn't entirely sure that Grace was dead, because I was pretty positive that she was going to be one of the survivors. Chanel sends Chanel No. 3, Chanel No. 5, Hester, and Zayday an email talking about how she's mad at them that none of them showed up at the pool to help her drown Dean Munch. I thought the email was pretty funny. But the Red Devil forwards the email to everyone, and everyone comes back to the campus and shames Chanel, and Chanel decides that she has to kill herself. When this scene was happening, I was really hoping that she wouldn't do it, because even though Chanel is really mean, I kind of like her. Chanel tells Zayday that she ordered herself a snake so she can kill herself just like Cleopatra. But Zayday tells Chanel that the snake that she has is harmless and is also wearing a scarf, which Chanel mistook for snake markings. I thought that was kind of funny. Zayday tells Chanel that she has her back, which I thought was really sweet, and Zayday also tells Chanel that they will team up to find out who the killer is. The Red Devil comes into Chanel's room, and Chanel and Zayday pull off the mask, and it's someone they don't know, a pizza guy. He tells them that the Red Devil trapped him and put a bomb on him and told him that if he didn't kill them, she would blow him up. The Chanels and Zayday take cover, and the pizza guy is blown up. You would think that the pizza guy would point out the killer to the girls, unless she was wearing her mask when she told him what to do. Chanel No. 5 is freaking out about the pizza guy blowing up, and Chanel No. 3 tell her to calm down. But they don't really tell her to calm down in a very nice way. Chanel tells Chanel No. 3 and Chanel No. 5 that she plans to go to Melanie Dorcas's house and apologize her for the acid spray tan incident, and that she wants Chanel No. 3 and Chanel No. 5 to film it. I love how over the top Chanel No. 5 is. I just find it really funny. Grace is talking to Wes and is wondering why the Red Devil let her live. Wes asks Grace if she and Pete slept together, but Grace says no. Wes tells Grace that he trusts her, and Grace says that she knows that the Red Devil is one of her sisters and that she needs to learn more information about her Kappa sisters. So she asks Wes to make a playlist. I think Wes was probably really happy to be able to make a playlist because he loves making playlists. Dean Munch goes to her house and sees candles everywhere. She then goes into her bedroom and finds Wes on her bed with a playlist, and he wants to sleep with her. When this scene happened, I knew he was only doing it to see if Dean Munch knew anything. Chanel number 3, and Chanel number 5 go to Melanie Dorcas's house so Chanel could apologize to her. While they're there, they're wondering where Hester is, and it cuts to Chanel's closet, and Hester is looking at Chanel's things. At the time, this might have seemed random, but after a while, we find out what Hester was doing. Grace and Zayde are looking up information on the Chanels, and they find information on one of them that makes them conclude that she is the killer. Chanel number 5 gets a response from Tinder, and she tells Chanel that she has to leave and meet the guy. But while she walks towards the door, she looks back, and the look on her face looks very suspicious. The timing of these two scenes seemed very suspicious, and I think it was obvious that they wanted to throw the audience off. Wes tells Dean Munch that that was the best sex he's ever had, and that maybe they should be together. Dean Munch tells Wes that Grace has got to go because Dean Munch finds her very annoying. I kind of like Wes and Dean Munch together. He really seems to like her now. Chanel is about to apologize to Melanie, but instead she accuses Melanie of being the Red Devil. But before she can kill Melanie, Grace and Zayde run in and tell Chanel and Chanel number 3 that the killer is Hester, and that they have proof. Which makes sense, because I guess if you can kind of look at it, I guess Lea Michele and Nick Jonas could pass for twins. Grace, Zayde, and the Chanels find Hester, and at first they think she's dead because she's been stabbed in the eye with one of Chanel's heels, but then she wakes up and points at Chanel number 5 and accuses her of being the Red Devil. When this happened, I was so excited because I was like, oh my god, I was right! But then the second half of the finale started. Episode 13 starts off in January 2016, and Dean Munch has reopened the campus, and Zayde is president of Kappa, Grace is her vice president, and Hester is the treasurer. During a voiceover, Hester says that she's the Red Devil, and she got away with it. I thought that was a really good twist. You really must be crazy if you're willing to stab yourself with a heel. Gigi taught Hester and Boone how to kill people while they were in the asylum. I thought it was a funny scene how Hester wouldn't let Boone answer any of Gigi's questions, and she kept answering. One day, while having coffee with Gigi, Hester sees someone in the Red Devil mascot costume and decides that they will use that costume to commit the murders. And it kind of seemed like Gigi had the same idea based on the look that she gave Hester. So Gigi kills the guy and they take the costume. I kind of found it kind of funny how serious Hester looked while she was watching Gigi murder the guy who was the mascot. Kind of creepy that I found that funny. It's revealed that Hester and Boone snuck into Kappa and put acid in Melanie's spray tan. It is also revealed that Boone was actually never a student at Wallace University, but one day he just went to the Dickie Dollar Scholars and joined them, and since those guys never actually went to any classes, he had us covered. But Hester wanted to do it the right way, so she faked her transcript, and Dean Munch knew that it was fake, but let her in anyway. Hester also says that there are no Chanels at Kappa anymore, because someone had to take the blame. I really liked the look Hester gave the audience when that part of the monologue was going on. In a flashback, Chanel number 3, Grace, and Zayde are questioning Chanel number 5, but she keeps denying it. Then Denise shows up and tells them that Boone is dead. Grace tells her that they already knew that, and that now they know that Hester's the killer. But then Hester walks in and starts lying and says that Chanel number 5 is the killer and the baby in the bathtub, and she gets her parents to come and back up her story. Chanel number 5 tells everyone to let her talk to her parents so she can prove that she's not the killer. Hester says she already called her parents, and they show up and basically lie and say that Gigi gave them Chanel number 5 and told them that when the time came to make sure she went to Wallace University and joined Kappa. It is then revealed that Hester basically asked, possibly paid, Chanel number 5's parents to do that. And the sad part is, Chanel number 5's parents told Hester that they were planning on doing something like that anyway because they couldn't stand Chanel number 5. That was really sad. I felt bad for Chanel number 5 for having such terrible parents. Denise arrests Chanel number 5, but Hester says that Chanel number 3 was in on it too. You would think that after being accused, Chanel number 3 would realize that Hester was lying about Chanel number 5, because if she's not the killer, then Chanel number 5 can't be the killer. But Chanel number 3 seemed to not catch that part, and just denied that she was the killer. Chanel number 3 denies being the killer, but Hester tells her that she killed Death Taylor Swift and Sam. She also tells Chanel number 3 that she has a split personality disorder, and that Chanel number 5 knew about it and asked her split personality to help her with the killings. And Chanel number 3 falls for it. Then, Hester accuses Chanel of also being involved in the murders. Hester says Chanel is also one of the killers, and when Chanel asks if she is the killer, why did she keep Grace and Zayday alive since they're the two people she hates the most? But Hester says that she kept them alive so no one would suspect her. The Chanels try to run, but Denise calls backup, and they get taken away. I found it really funny that the backup used to be strippers. I also found it funny that even though the Chanels were arrested for the murders, Denise is still keeping her eye on Zayday. Apparently, Hester did a really good job at convincing Grace and Zayday that she wasn't the Red Devil, because when everyone was accusing Chanel number 5, Grace said that it's Hester because she lied on her transcript. But then after Hester makes up the excuse that she lied because she didn't want anyone to know she was homeschooled, they don't say anything anymore. And they just seem like they believe her. Dean Munch is happy that the Chanels aren't getting bailed out. And Chad and Denise continue their affair, but then they break up. I thought the breakup scene was very funny. Chad talks to the press about a foundation that he's created for the dead Dickie Dollar scholars, and says that he will donate all the money to charity. I found it funny how, when asked which charity he's going to give the money to, Chad seemed to not realize that there were many different charities, and just said, charity. Ah, Chad, you special, special man. Grace, Zayday, and Hester are cleaning a memorial dedicated to the students who were murdered. Grace and Zayday leave, and Dean Munch tells Hester that she knows that Hester was the girl baby in the bathtub because she was there when the babies were born, and it's not likely that she would forget the baby's face, and not likely that she would know what the baby looked like when she grew up. Hester tells Dean Munch that it's not her fault that her life was like that. Dean Munch tells Hester that she's going to turn her in, but Hester says that if Dean Munch turns her in, then she will turn Dean Munch for covering up her mother's death, and also for killing her ex-husband. There's a pause, and it looks like Dean Munch is going to be mad, but then she's just like, okay, see you later. I thought that was really funny, because Dean Munch seemed so set on turning Hester in, but then was just like, never mind. Grace creates a call center for students to call if they ever need help, so what happened to the girl in the bathtub won't happen again. Wes tells Grace that he's proud of her and that she's finally earned her space. I like Grace and Wes's relationship. I find it really cute. The Chanels are at their trial, and before the verdict is announced, Chanel has a big outburst, which is kind of sad because if she didn't, they would have been left out because the original verdict was not guilty. But when Chanel had her outburst and started yelling at the jury, the head juror changed the verdict to guilty. And then the Chanels got sent to an asylum. The Chanels end up having a great time at the asylum. Chanel number 3 realizes that she is in fact a lesbian and has a relationship with one of the nurses. And Chanel number 5 even become best friends because Chanel said that Chanel number 5 was given pills that made her a lot less annoying. I'm happy that they're happy. I mean, they deserve to be happy after being accused of something they did not do. The episode ends with Chanel going to bed, but she hears a noise. She gets up, but doesn't see anything, and then lies back down. And the Red Devil is behind her holding a knife, and Chanel screams. I feel like it's supposed to be a dream or somehow she gets out of it, because I know that if there is a season 2, Emma Roberts will probably be in it. I read somewhere, actually in a lot of places, that Ryan Murphy said that there were going to be 4 survivors at the end of the season, but Grace, Zayday, Hester, Dean Munch, Wes, Denise, and Chad and the Chanels all survived. I'm wondering if Ryan Murphy changed his mind, or if he meant that only 4 of those characters out of the 10 would return to season 2. I hope all of them make an appearance in season 2. If there is a second season, I would really like a scene where Hester confesses to Grace that she is in fact her half-sister, and also Hester confessing to Wes that she is his daughter. I just think that would be a very interesting scene. I think it also would be funny that if in season 2, when murders start happening, they find out that Hester was in fact the Red Devil, and they immediately blame her for everything that's happening. But she tells them, well, yeah, it was me, but it's not me this time, I promise. I actually read an article of Leah Michelle, and she was saying that she talked to Ryan about what Hester's role would be in season 2, if there is a season 2. And she basically said the same thing along that lines, that she thinks that that would be kind of funny. I guess I'm upset that my theory that Chanel number 5 was the killer is wrong. But she was framed, so everyone else thinks she's the killer. Even though they didn't outright mention this, I think I've come to the conclusion on why Chanel number 5 kept escaping death. I think it was always the plan to blame Chanel number 5. One thing that I found interesting though was that Hester only killed Pete, and Pete, Boone, and Gigi did all the other killings. Hester was just the mastermind. I know some people didn't like the way the finale ended, but I also know that there were some people who did like the way the finale ended. And I would put myself in the group of people that did like the way the finale ended, even though I was wrong with my theory. Really hope there's a season 2. I know that they have plans for it, so really all we have to do is wait till it gets picked up and hope that the people in season 1 come back, because I know that that's the plan. They were going to bring the season 1 survivors back and then have new characters. I know Leah Michelle wants to come back. Bye.